So if you isolate that moment, there's an honor in there and there's an integrity to that. But then you move on to another chapter. And how long can you live off that? How long can any of us live off anything we've just done without sort of developing and without being honest with ourselves? That's interesting to me.
Guys, the show is phenomenal. I was hooked from the start, and all the twists and turns. It was so good.
Thank you.
Right. Thanks.
Alexander, my first question is for you. What about like Kim Philby's story and just this double agent spy genre really speaks to you? Because you've done 2 really cool shows tapping into this particular genre.
Well, I'm interested in spies. I'm interested in just in the work, I think, and I'm interested in what it takes to do the work and what it takes to maintain your cover and what it takes to be duplicitous to that level. What it takes, and how much of it is ideology, how much of it is elitism, how much of it is just feeling that you have one over on the idiot you're talking to. It's all of those things that I think are fascinating. And then there's the ramifications of it, the world that you're living in. I mean, if you think about the intelligence officials right now who are working, you would have to assume in Russia or Ukraine and all the rest of it. What's not interesting about that? Do you know what I mean? So, and those sort of people, because some of them do it. They do it for all kinds of reasons. And this particular story, I'm interested in it because Philby got caught, and what was that like? And what was it like to have a friendship for 23 years where everything you say could possibly have life or death consequences for you? And then what is it like for Nicholas Elliott to realize, oh my God, he's basically been screwing me over all this time, and my life now means nothing. There's just fascinating world for drama.
I completely agree. And then Guy, one of the things I found so interesting about Kim was he's a double agent, but the second he's accused of like treason by a couple of people, he has this really visceral reaction. So why do you think that's such kind of a hot button word for him?
Well, I think because for him, he's a very intelligent man. And I think that just feels too sort of reductionist. It feels too reductive. It just, it simplifies something in a way that I think he doesn't have any respect for. So I think given the opportunity to have a much longer conversation about what his beliefs are, why he's doing what he's doing, he would take that opportunity. But to just simply be accused of or be explained as a traitor is insulting to him.
Alexander, you've worked with Damian Lewis now twice, and he's kind of played both sides of this coin as the double agent and now the intelligence officer that was betrayed. Can you talk about collaborating with him again and why you knew he was perfect for the role of Nicholas?
Well, he's a brilliant actor. The first day I worked with him, I did a scene in Homeland where all he had to do is look out the window and act like there were journalists on his lawn. And he did something. If you go back and look at that, he did something where he sort of flinches it's barely visible. And I realized that I was dealing with someone who was really special then. Then it turned out that he's a really, really good laugh and just fun to hang around with. And every day working with him it's really good fun. So I wanted to work with him. I wanted to work with people I liked. I wanted to make a show about friendship with friends. We had become friends over the Homeland experience, and he was he was sort of in the same. He had the same opinion. So it was brilliant, and I would work with him and Guy if I'm lucky enough at any time. These guys are fantastic. And just really fun to hang out with.
And then, Guy, what surprised you the most when you were kind of embodying Kim? Because he is based on a real person, but I loved these complex emotions you brought to him.
Just the fact that it was real, that's really what I found myself being surprised by constantly, was that this actually happened, that he really did this, that he held this sort of secret and this kind of game that he was, orchestrating for as long as he did. And it still just immediately makes me go, who does that? Why did he need to do that? What was it that, how much of it was ego? How much of it was the thrill of the game? How much of it was purely, a belief system? How was he able to justify the deaths that were caused? He comes from looking at his background and looking at his, father and what his father believed in and what his father talked about as far as the way the British treated the Arabic nations. You start to sort of kind of get a sense of how and why maybe he believed the way he believed. Interesting too, because there he is in the middle of the British ruling class, enjoying the spoils of that, but also having disdain for it. So he really was sort of caught in the middle of something, wasn't he, Alex? He was kind of an interest, sort of plonked in a very particular place, kind of psychically in the world, which I think played a big part in why he did what he did.
Yeah, I mean, the journey it's never simple. The idea that he went to Vienna as quite a young man after university,
like a 19-year-old.
He was a bit older than that, but I mean, but he went to Vienna and he helped Jews and communists escape the fascists during the uprising. Then, to me, I've always thought if I had done something like that at 21 or whatever it was, if I had done something like that, I would have thought for a long time that that had defined me, and that other people's experience probably paled in comparison, and knowledge of the world probably paled in comparison to mine. So if you isolate that moment, there's an honor in there and there's an integrity to that. But then you move on to another chapter. And how long can you live off that? How long can any of us live off anything we've just done without sort of developing and without being honest with ourselves? That's interesting to me.
Yeah, well, that's why it was so important to have that in the story, wasn't it? It was great. Yeah.
Like I said, you guys did such an amazing job. The show is so good. And I do want to say real quick, as a James Bond fan, I love the little Ian Fleming nod. That was very fun.
Good. Thank you very much.
So thank you so much for your time. It was great talking to you.
Thanks. Pleasure. Nice to meet you.